I'm Health Coach Heather, and you've got episode 86. Feelings are alive inside you. Welcome to the Healthy Families Rule podcast. This podcast is a resource for families who are on a path to optimal wellness, but still aren't able to reach their physical and mental goals. I'm Heather Mitchell, and with over 9 years experience in nutrition and exercise and a certified master health coach, I'm uniquely qualified to help you and your family achieve optimal health. So for the next few minutes, set aside your concerns and learn how you can self-repair your body and mind and experience greater joy in your life. Please note that the info provided in the show is intended to educate and elevate, but is not meant to be a substitute for advice from your medical provider. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast today. Thankful to have each and every one of you as listeners of the Healthy Families Rule podcast. You guys, I think about you. I really do. I think about you every week, and I wonder, who do I get to help this week? Who will benefit from something that I have to say? And that's why I'm here. I haven't actually heard from people saying, wow, this podcast has totally changed my life, or what you're saying has just transformed me. And no, I don't hear that at all. But something inside of me is always telling me to keep going. Someone out there needs this. Someone out there's listening. And maybe that someone hasn't even found my podcast yet. Maybe they're going to stumble across 80, 90 episodes and go, whoa, this is exactly what I was looking for. So exciting. Last week on my Facebook page, I did a quick Facebook Live on a topic that is so dear to me, and it's all about feelings causing physical pain. There's a book, and it's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol K. Truman. If you have not read the book yet, I'm going to highly recommend that you go check that book out at your library. Better yet, just purchase it, highlight it, make notes, because I think that this book was inspired by God himself, and it's very intuitive. It's very enlightened. I think it's a tool for each of us. It's going to help us as we navigate disease and illness and sickness in our lives. So what is this book about? Well, this book is really about feelings causing disease in your body. Emotions. Emotions are alive inside of us. They're not dead. They're alive. Sometimes we blame our illness or our disease on parents or genetics. What you need to know about genetics is genetics will load the gun, yes. But it's your environment and your lifestyle that pulls the trigger. You get to choose the foods you're going to eat every single day. You get to choose the people you're going to hang around. Are they toxic people or people who bring you down? You get to choose the amount of social media, the time you scroll, the comparing yourself to other people when you see something going great in their life that might not be going so great in yours. Maybe somebody's traveling a lot. They are making more money than you. Looks like their marriage is happy and amazing. It all looks that way, doesn't it? They've got the beautiful kids. They've got the life you want, the house, the farm, everything. I've seen these people online myself. And if you're not careful, it's easy to slip into comparisons. And comparison, as we know, is the thief of joy. Comparing yourself to other people can lead to feelings of deep sorrow and depression and anxiety over wanting your life to be something more than it is. And when you want your life to be something more than it is, a very specific thing happens in your body a trigger, if you will, into the cells that cause some sort of disease, some sort of illness. So fascinating. Let's take a look at people who maybe have some arthritis going on. If someone has arthritis, I always ask them this question first. Are you severely criticizing yourself, or are you severely criticizing others right now? I let them think on that. Are you holding on to feelings of hostility? Are you holding on to your own opinions and beliefs? Is there long-term tension or anger in your life? Do you have feelings of anxiety and or depression endured over long periods of time? Is there a belief that it's wrong to get angry, which might create repressed anger that eats you up? Do you need to be right? Are you rigid in your thinking and feeling? Do you have an uncompromising attitude? And are you inflexible? Because those emotions right there, those feelings that you're having, those thoughts that you're having, definitely trigger arthritis. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, the body is receiving conflicting messages like laughing on the outside but crying on the inside, and feels totally helpless, inability to change life's burdens. So maybe you've gained some awareness now and you go, oh yeah, that's totally me. What do I do then? How do I get rid of some of those feelings? Because yeah, I do have arthritis and I do feel some of those things. This might be the person saying this to me. What do I do now? This is the time when you need to have a coach or a therapy session or a counselor, if possible. And that would be the best thing to do, someone that you can talk your problems out to and get things cleared up. And then, of course, I'm always going to recommend journaling every single day, getting your thoughts out of your head. Something else that has really, really helped me has been some Kundalini yoga every day. Some people have hard feelings towards Kundalini yoga. They think it's crazy, satanic, witchcraft type of yoga. I am here to tell you that it's not any of those things. You can feel an immediate shift in your energy after doing breath of fire, after doing some chanting, after doing some of these yoga, Kundalini yoga, breath work and poses. I can't tell you, how quickly it actually works to release those emotions in your body. Another technique that I have tried and I've heard of is called scribbling. What you do is get a blank piece of paper out, and on that piece of paper you write whatever you're upset about. Could be something that your husband said or your child did to you, something that a friend said, maybe an embarrassment that you had somewhere, something, anything. It could be a childhood trauma, although I would start with something not as heavy as that. And you write it on this piece of paper, and then you get a crayon out and you start scribbling. And you scribble, and you fill up the paper with all the scribbling. You might go through several pieces of paper, and then you'll know you've cleared the emotion when your hand starts to create an oval shape on the paper. It just does this automatically. And that is how you know you have cleared it. Now, I've only just begun this exercise over something that's gone on in my life, and I've already gone through 6 pieces of paper. I haven't hit that oval shape yet. So my hand's tired, obviously. So I do 2 pieces of paper every day. And I keep trying to clear this emotion, this block that seems to be a lot bigger than I ever expected it to be in my life. And it's not even something that's, as traumatic as maybe being molested or raped or anything like that. It's just simply something someone said, something like that. But anyways, that's another activity you can do to clear your emotions, is to do the scribbling. You can also go get coached with Brooke Castillo or Jody Moore. They use the model the CTFAR. I've also used that model on my clients. And it really helps take you through what the circumstance is, what your thought is behind it. And then we can gain some awareness about what that thought is producing, what kind of feeling, what kind of action are we taking from that feeling, and what is the result in our life. So I journal about that. I do some self-coaching all the time. Let's continue on though. Let's look at anxiety for a second. If you have anxiety, what might be happening? You feel unable to, quote, call the shots, unquote, in your life. You feel boxed in, and you feel helpless to affect a change. Do you have anxiety? And if so, do you feel any of those things? I do want to hit on one that kids have going on a lot, and that is bedwetting. If you are a child listening to this and you happen to be a bedwetter, let's see if you don't deep down, feel any of these things at all. All right? Feelings of fear toward a parent, usually the father. Unconscious anger. Don't know how to get what you want. Need for attention. I can tell you, I have a child who is and was a bedwetter, and I can tell you exactly which one of those fit him to the T. It was don't know how to get what you want. So this child has a hard time negotiating or communicating, and he's just frustrated all the time and angry. He can't figure out how to get what he wants because sometimes the things he wants aren't what his parents want for him. And so he's struggled with that for sure. People who have bladder problems, though, bladder problems are repression of sexual feelings, inharmonious male and female emotional relationships, sexual identity going unexpressed, unable to release things or ideas no longer needed, feels over-concerned with survival issues like money, job, or health, lack of order or obsessed with order, and yearning. Okay, so if you feel like you do have a bladder problem, could something underneath that bladder problem be one of those? Okay, let's move on here. Let's see, cancer. There's so many different cancers, and there's different things that are related to different cancers. So if you have cancer of the blood, leukemia, intense depression, anger, or ill will. Maybe you've been feeling that for a long time, and it brought on the cancer. Lack of pure love for self and others. If you have cancer of the cervix, repressed anger. What about any of the female organs? Repressed anger, usually at male authority figures. Feeling an emptiness in life. Unresolved resentments. Feelings of hostility being suppressed. Rejecting the self. Feelings of despair. Feelings of loneliness being repressed. Poor relationship with parents. Inability to cope with a traumatic loss. Feelings of hopelessness, helplessness being repressed. Mental depression. Holding on to deep anger, resentment, hate, revenge, or jealousy. Not open to light or divine help. Subconscious death wish. No desire to live. So interesting. Maybe you don't have cancer of anything that you know of, and yet you feel one of these things. And just knowing that, knowing what it could spur on, knowing what it could trigger in your body, knowing that it could bring cancer, how will you clear yourself of any of those emotions and feelings? Then, of course, there's cancer of the skin, which is a form of destruction due to feeling inadequate or unworthy. There's all kinds of cancers. Cancers of the small back, cancer of the stomach. Candida begins with doubting yourself, resentment multiplying inside, inability to claim one's own power, unresolved negative feelings molding in the body. Can you see how all of these problems, this disease, is caused by negative things? I mean, you don't see one thing that says you're happy, lighthearted, and full of love, and it causes something. No. These are all negative emotions that well up inside you and simmer there over time and cause whatever's going on for you. We could go to one my clients have often. Heck, I get it when I travel for sure. Constipation. Should we look at that? Constipation, you're constantly fretting, unwilling to release old feelings and beliefs, resisting the flow of life, blocking what you want to say, feelings of anxiety, unresolved problems, determined to carry on. That's so interesting. On the other spectrum, we have people who have diarrhea. Let's see what's going on there. Rejecting the visualization of something you don't want to accept. Wanting to be done with someone or something. Running away from a situation. Fear of something in the present. Obsessed with order. Giving up your goals when unable to have what you desire. Dang. I mean, if that doesn't just hit you right in the heart, I don't know. Because right there, I mean, many people are doing all of that stuff on a continual basis. If they don't have diarrhea coming on yet, looks like they definitely could have some of that happen. Dementia is a big one. Dementia, feeling hopeless and helpless, tired of having to struggle with life, and unresolved anger. I mean, you got everything here. Diabetes, judging self or others severely, disappointed in life, ongoing feelings of sorrow, emotional shock, joy of life is gone, feeling it should have been different, obsessed with wanting to control, ashamed of something you did in the past. Any of those could lead to diabetes. Now, some of you are going, well, this is a bunch of hoo-ha. How am I supposed to believe this? Well, listen, if it doesn't feel true to you, don't believe it. That's all I can say. But if you want to have your problem or someone else's problem that you might know who's struggling with something go away, why wouldn't you try something like this? Why wouldn't you try to look into the underlying cause instead of mask everything with a prescription drug? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you want to say, you know what, migraine headaches, unable to flow easily with life, want to take things at your own pace, dislikes being pushed, inability to handle pressure or stress for long periods of time, pushing to control, wants control. Why wouldn't you look at your life if you had migraine headaches and go, you know what, I do have a control problem. Now, how do I breathe into my life, accept what I cannot control, and move forward, feeling unconditional love? It's something you're going to have to get on your knees for and pray for. I don't know how people do anything, can do life, period, without the help of God. I don't know how they do it. You're going to want to journal, like I said. You're going to want to do some Kundalini yoga, some breathing exercises. My 4-7-8 breath, you breathe in your nose for 4. You hold that breath for 7 seconds, and then you breathe it out your mouth for 8 seconds. 4-7-8. Maybe do 4 rounds of that 3 times a day. Let that kind of release tension for you. I think we hold our breath too much. We don't focus on how our breathing is, and this causes problems too. What if you've had a miscarriage? Lots of people have miscarriages, and there will be many, many more in the future. Underneath it all, fears timing is wrong. Fears what the future will bring. Fears the responsibility of baby. So interesting. Fears what the future will bring. Now, how easy is it to get pregnant in this day and age and look at the world and not fear what the future is going to bring? How do we do that? Again, we do that by daily meditation, journaling, hiring a life coach, getting our body in optimal health so we can go through this and do this. Did I say journaling? If I didn't say that enough times today, I'm going to say that again. Journaling every day. The scribbling activity I mentioned earlier. Your body is going to respond exactly to what's going on deep, deep down. So if you're already struggling with your weight and you're going, well, I can't lose weight. Well, what's underneath all of that? What do you fear? You know, some people fear that if they get skinny, they'll get the wrong kind of attention from men. So they've never said that out loud, but their body knows, their brain knows that that's something that's deep down within them. So your body's going to do what your body does. It's going to make sure you don't get skinny. In this day and age, when we have food shortages, we watch South America going through the food crisis, food shortages all over the world. We had the toilet paper shortage or whatever, right? So now there's this feeling of scarcity in our society. Well, what's your body going to do? Underneath all of it, your body might say, well, I don't want to get skinny, and then we have this food shortage, and now I can't get food, and now I starve to death. I better just maintain. You're not saying this out loud. You're barely bringing these thoughts to the surface, but they're there, and your body's responding to that. So how do you clear yourself of that? Get it out of your head. Get it out of your body. Talk about what some of your deepest fears would be if you were to lose the weight, if you were to follow an eating protocol that you created yourself. Maybe you decided you wanted to be vegan. Maybe you decided you want to be paleo. Maybe you want to go Whole30. It really doesn't matter what eating protocol you want to follow. Maybe you want to join my coaching program, do a whole foods detox, or maybe be on Optavia for a while and just figure out what this is about. Get your mental state cleared and healed first. But you go all in and you tell yourself that you can do this. And you give yourself pep talks, and you've got inspiration, motivation, playing in your AirPods. You're listening to stuff throughout the week that gets you excited and motivated to keep pushing forward another day. And you stop living in the future, because fear lives in the future. We bring it back to the present. All we have is here and now. Can you make a decision that's good for your body right now, in this second? If you can make a good decision right now, in this moment, in this second, and if this second and this moment is all we have, you don't need to fear that you'll gain that weight back. You don't need to fear that you might slip up, because all we have is today in this moment. And now we have this moment, and now we have this moment. And what are you choosing this moment, and this moment, and this moment? What are you choosing? Can't you see? It's all just happening right now. We don't look to the future. We can decide to go in 100% today, because this is what we have. And this is our higher brain making the choice right now, without the fear of, I'm going to slip up, I'm going to do something wrong. Stop thinking in the future. Stay with me. Stay with me right now, right here. How do you want your life to look? What do you want to do? Then, once we really take a look at the problem going on, maybe you come get coached and I kind of walk you through, are you feeling any of these things? Are there any underlying root problems that could be hurting you in this area? We coach, we walk through this together, so you can really gain some good awareness and some action steps to take around changing this. And then you decide, I need to really understand my feelings better then. I need to understand my emotions. If you're feeling, let's say you're feeling disobedient. Let's talk about some opposite words from disobedient. Obedient, reliable, stable, and steadfast. So instead of telling yourself, I'm disobedient, let's just change it around. Just say, you know what? I'm steadfast. And I am reliable. And I am stable. What if you're depressed? Let's think of some opposite words from being depressed. Joyful, enthused about life, happy, excited. So even if you're not depressed, maybe you do feel joy most of the day. But let's expand our vocabulary and say, you know what? Today I feel enthused about my life. If someone says, hey, how are you? You know what? I'm really enthused about life today. I'm excited. I'm so happy. How are you doing? And we just change up the vocabulary a bit. Can you see how you expand your emotions through these words that you're using to describe yourself? It's pretty powerful. All right, let's take a look at some others. What if someone says, you know what? They're cocky. What's the opposite of cocky? Humble, pleasant, caring, and sincere. You could be all those things too, and you can be cocky. What if you can be all of it? And that's okay. What if we don't need to believe the negative word that somebody might say about us? But we take a look at the opposite of the negative word, and we say, you know what? I might be a little cocky, but I'm also humble at times. I'm also really pleasant to be around, and I do care a lot about things and people, and I'm pretty sincere. What if you're called cruel? You might say, yeah, you know, sometimes I am cruel, but I'm also kind. I'm also gentle and loving and compassionate. Can you see how we can be all things even? And if we take the negative words in our head and we think of their opposite and expand even more words than just the opposite of what that word is, give it more words, now we can really start filling our brain full of these beautiful words which fill our body full of light, which promotes healing within the body so that we don't get sick and stay in disease. I hope this makes sense to you. What if someone says, you know, they're clumsy or they're awkward? Well, what if they're graceful too, and they're at ease, and they're confident, and they're flowing? That's what I would tell myself if someone said, you know, you've got 2 left feet. I'd also say, I'm also graceful. I'm also confident and flowing. And I'm also at ease, pretty easy. Anyways, I think it's just amazing. And if you do end up going through Carol K. Truman's book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, she has this beautiful processing script she uses. I'll just read it to you here in case you don't purchase it, but maybe you want to listen to this. She has a script she used in 2009, and then she has an updated one. It's a little bit shorter. I'll go through it with you real fast before we end today's podcast. You would say this to your body. You'd say, Spirit, superconscious, please locate the origin of my feeling, thought of, and you put your feeling and thought in there. It could be anger. It could be not enoughness. It could be conceitedness. Maybe you are clumsy. Whatever you want there. Okay? Please locate the origin of my feeling or my thought of not enoughness. Take each and every level, layer, area, and aspect of my being to this origin. Analyze and resolve it perfectly with God's truth. Come through all generations of time and eternity, healing every incident and its appendages based on the origin. Do it according to God's will until I'm at the present, filled with light and truth, God's peace and love, forgiveness for my incorrect perceptions, forgiveness of every person, place, circumstance, and event which contributed to the feeling or thought. With total forgiveness and unconditional love, I allow every physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual problem and inappropriate behavior based on the negative origin recorded in my DNA to transform. I choose being enough. See, now we're putting the words. We're going to pick 3 words here. I choose being blank. And they're going to be the opposite of what we said in the beginning, okay? So I choose being enough. I feel blank. I feel worthy. I am lovable. I am blank. I am lovable. Okay, after that we say, it is done, it is healed, it is accomplished now. Thank you, Spirit, for coming to my aid and helping me attain the full measure of my creation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and praise God from whom all blessings flow. Can you see how it just sounds like a beautiful prayer? What she recommends you do, though, is that you memorize this script. And so it's really on repeat in your head throughout the day. So maybe you do this 5 times a day until you get this down memorized. And you just start to heal your body through this processing script, which I think is just awesome and beautiful. All right, so there we go. There's some ways to clear whatever's going on for you. I look forward to connecting with you guys. If you need any further help, you know where to find me. Just come on over to healthcoachheather.com. Let's get you coached. Let's get you healed and helped in any way that I can help or assist you or your family or your children so that you can have the healthiest, happiest life, free of pain, optimal health and well-being, so that you can enjoy your life. Because we were sent here to enjoy our lives. I truly believe that. Yes, there's going to be pain, but can we find joy amidst the pain? I believe we can, as we take care of our bodies, as we connect with our spirits, as we understand who we truly are and how our bodies can heal, self-repair, all by themselves. It's an amazing thing that we have here. I hope we can tap into it even just a little bit more. Thanks for listening today. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, you have to come check out my coaching and all I have to offer. Whether you're trying to lose weight, get the kids healthier, overcome hard challenges in your life, or just need some support, I'd be so excited to be your coach. I'm going to help you take all this material I teach here on the podcast and apply it to your personal life. So come on over to healthcoachheather.com to learn more. And thanks for sharing this podcast episode with a friend.